Hi, this is iAllegedly. Welcome back. I'm Dan. And one thing that's very apparent right now is that the media is broken right now. And there's a lot to discuss about this today. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. And let's get right into it. Since the election in November, one thing that's been very apparent is that we are starting to hear about the ratings from different news organizations. This includes newspapers. This includes uh, places like CNN. And today we're going to focus on CNN because CNN is absolutely broken right now. And the problem with CNN is that they charge an absolute fortune for their advertising rates. Think about this one. Their ratings are down an absolute ton. Do you know there are days that this, I was going to say chicken ass channel, my channel gets more views than CNN does at certain times of the day. Is that crazy? Okay. Now, with that being said, that's ridiculous. It's one of the biggest, news organizations on the planet Earth, and they're failing. Now, they didn't always be that way. Ted Turner used to own this place, and one thing that Ted Turner did was he was all about 24-hour news, which when you think about it, when it originally started, it was like news all the time. Who wants that? Well, let's go back. For those of us that are old enough to remember the Gulf War. Saddam Hussein, he was going to come and get us, and it was terrible. We just had this fear that was going on a daily basis, and we had to get information as, as clear as possible from somebody that was trusted. And back then you had Wolf Blitzer, which it's like, oh my God, is that a name for war? Wolf Blitzer. Now Blitzer is a lying old man who his word is no good, and he's just part of the, he's just a shill for one side, and it's terrible. Okay. Now, again, you may like that side. I'm not trying to diminish this, but what I'm talking about is the business side of this. These guys are getting clobbered right now. Mark Thompson, the CEO of this company, they announced another 100 layoffs, another 200. Well, it could be as many as 400 people could lose their jobs there, depending on what source you go to. Now, the thing about CNN is it used to be a great source for news. And then it's not journalism anymore, guys. It's propaganda. And oh my God, I can't believe you're saying that, Dan. No, it's ridiculous, guys. Everybody has their own opinion, and you can go get what you want. But again, eventually it gets to a point that they have to give the product that people want to see right now. And people don't want to see what they're talking about right now. It's clear. Now, one thing that's funny to me, and there is one guy in the media that if I ran up to this guy, if I was in an airport, I would miss my flight to tell this guy what a little bitch he is, and that is Jim Acosta. I can't stand this guy. And this know it all smug fool who has no talent, or, anyways, Jim was going to be relegated to the graveyard shift, okay? Midnight to 3 a.m. East Coast time. And somebody tried to present it to him. He said, listen, it's prime time in the Pacific time zone. It's good prime time. It's 9 o'clock at night. No, it's terrible, guys. It's terrible. Well, Jim now says he may quit and leave. Okay, good luck. Good luck. But again, that's the only guy. There's a lot of people in this world that have said horrible things about me or done things. That's probably the only guy that I would go out of my way, to have a conversation with. Okay, because he's like I said, I made it clear how I feel about that girl. Okay, girl Acosta. Anyways, so much is happening right now. So many people are struggling right now with everything that's going on. And what we're seeing the fact that, the bond prices are out of control. Their interest rates are going up still. They're not going down. And you're starting to see this affect businesses because what's going to happen is you're going to see the layoffs get multiplied right now, and it's not going to be able to stop right now. Businesses are going to shutter, and you're going to see them have to make tough decisions with their employees right now. And it's funny. I think about everything that's going on right now, and I'd be talking to my son about even the places he works at, how they're saying, listen, it's all merit based now, guys. Who brings in the biggest checks? Who, has the best customer service ratings? That's it. There's no way around this right now. So, you know, kind of interesting as what we're living through right now. Now, a few other things in the economy that are um, worth talking about. Now, more things in the news that affect all of us. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has just settled with Equifax. Equifax is going to pay a $15 million penalty for having inaccurate items put back on people's credit reports after people disputed this information. So would affect people's credit scores. And you're going to start to see a lot of people that are going to write more letters and going to dispute more things. But this $15 million. This isn't going to go to some governmental agency. It goes directly into the victim's fund. So if there's inaccurate things in your credit report, which again, check your credit, guys. I always tell you that. Check your credit report and find out if there's anything on there that's not supposed to be there. There's, you don't have to hire somebody to do this. You can do this on your own, and there's great ways to write letters. The tax refund dates, if you're thinking that you're going to get a tax refund this year, they issued the dates on when people should start to get the checks sent out, and you can read that below. I don't want to call the IRS. Okay. Well, you can read the story below, and they'll tell you the dates on when you can anticipate it based on when you file and things like that. Cash App is a payment app. Cash App's parent company was ordered to pay $175 million for weak security. And again, people that made these payments went out and had their data compromised and their information compromised. And nobody needs that, guys. It's terrible right now. So, again, if you had the victim of this stuff, check your bank accounts, check everything. Constantly do this, guys. Constantly do it. I know so many people that have had their credit cards hacked, debit cards. They start with small transactions and then they add bigger things. But Cash App, people send payments and they don't check the security, and all of a sudden people are missing $50, $100. If they do this to 1,000 people, it's a lot of money. So don't forget that. There was a promising EV company called Canoo, which I've never seen a Canoo car to save my life. I've never seen one. The best part about this story, and I talked about this a few months ago, was that the owners of the company flew around in private jets, had, catered lunches with lobster on your dime. So, company which made nothing, did nothing, and was going to be a great EV car company, just spent all the money, pissed it away. So they're filing bankruptcy and they're going to liquidate. Okay. More problems for San Francisco. Bloomingdale's, the flagship store of Bloomingdale's, which I don't think it's the flagship store. I would say New York City is their flagship store. But Bloomingdale's in New York City is done. Okay. So they're going to close finally. Bloomingdale's in San Francisco is going to close because of crime and because of everything awful with San Francisco. Again, guys, I think it'll be 2 decades before San Francisco is brought back to a realistic community that we can all hang out at. A couple things in the news. Bank of America and Citibank are getting in trouble for discriminating against people for their political and religious beliefs. Uh-oh. Yeah, we're not going to tolerate that anymore. So you guys are going to pay up. So I'm telling you guys, if you think, oh, this stuff doesn't happen, it does happen. People, I don't like that guy. It's a Yankee fan. He actually went to a Houston Astros game. You know what his religion is? Oh my God, what's wrong with that guy? Imagine doing. I mean, it's insane, guys. It's absolutely insane, and people have just been discriminated against. And now the thing about this is that they talk about it. Hey, guess what we did? Oh yeah, you did that? Okay. And then somebody gets denied a promotion. You go, you know what? We tell people what we've been doing. There is a woman in Bonsall, California named Michelle Mack. Michelle Mack was what they called the queen pin. And Michelle went out and she stole cosmetics from Ulta and Sephora stores. And then she would resell them. She had a ring of people that would steal things and give them a percentage. But she recently got caught. And of course, somebody rolled over, hey, I'm committing this crime. And somebody got caught stealing. Well, I work for her. And her whole world was unraveled. Part of her plea agreement was that she had to sell her 4,500 square foot house, 4,500 square feet, and she has to pay $3 million in restitution. Well, if you're not stealing and now you're having to give up your house, it'll be interesting to see if this stuff ever gets paid or not. But again, crime rings that steal cosmetic. I mean, I'm telling you, if you asked, I'd say 95% of all men, hey, how much does lipstick cost? Okay, just throw me overboard because I'm never going to know, But it's funny. I bought a bunch of Christmas gifts for people I work with and people that work with me, and took my daughter into one of those places, a couple of those places, Sephora and Ulta, now that I think about it. And she bought packs for people. And man, oh man, that stuff's expensive. So this woman went out and she ran a ring that made it so that they would steal things that give them a percentage, sell it online, and she got caught red-handed. So, to avoid jail and to get a lesser sentence, she's giving up everything. So, interesting. One thing I like to do when I look for a car is buy a used car. Don't like to buy new cars because I want somebody else to get the depreciation and deal with that. But one tool that I use is going online and looking at all the different videos and different people I respect, and Scotty and TK's Garage and all these different people that really talk about the wear and tear. One car that's just getting that I've seen a really bad rap for is the Jeep Cherokee. Jeep Cherokee has just been destroyed lately online. Now here's the thing that's wild about this. They just got a recall for 63,000 cars for, think about this, um, lack of power in the car, shutting off for 63,000 cars, and lack of braking, the ability to brake. Well, those two things seem pretty important. So I was blown away by this. And again, who do you guys listen to? Again, I think a car is designed to get you from here to there. No one cares what you drive, reliability, performance, good gas mileage, things like that. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the new administration and how all these mandates are going to be eliminated and things like that. So, next thing is there are restaurants, and out of Florida, they have a thing called dirty dining, and man, they just slam restaurants. You get a notice from the health department, you might as well just fold up shop because they'll put it in the newspaper. They'll say, John Smith did this on this date and we found vermin. Okay. There is a restaurant, this is out of the New York Post, and the story is below. It's crazy, called Barzini's, which I'm like, oh, I've heard of that place. Well, Barzini's got a health department violation for having vermin, rats, and things like that. They found a dead rat, in the kitchen, and they just defied the order and stayed open. Uh-oh. Now, here in California, you'd go to jail if you did that. So I don't know what's going to happen, to Barzini's, but man, oh, if you read this, you would never want to eat there again. That's all I got to say. But these people need to be held accountable when they do things like this. Now, speaking of California, we had more fires yesterday, and supposedly today Donald Trump's going to go to California to meet with Gavin Newsom. Man, oh man, I wonder what's going to happen. You can't get political on this stuff. You cannot deny that 15,000 structures have burnt down and that we have more fires. Guys, we go to bed at night and you check the local news to see if there's any new fires, and then the night before there was all these new fires at Sepulveda Pass, and the wind picks up and it's terrible and it gets windy and hot, and it hasn't rained, and now we're supposed to maybe get rain this weekend, and they're thinking that's the saving grace. But man, oh man, they didn't clear the brush around these places. They don't have water inside some of these reservoirs, and some of the fire hydrants are running dry. What else do you need, guys? I mean, come on. And you know, firefighters are working 24 hours a day right now, but the fires are just running. They're every day there's something new right now. And there was some in San Diego. And here's the thing: here in Orange County, you've got the foothills here that have burned before, and because it hasn't rained much in the last year, they're not worried about that stuff burning again. But it would just be if there were houses And if it hit the right place, it could take out a whole community again. So that's the problem you see with this stuff. But man, the leadership and the lack of leadership and the lack of accountability and the responsibility and blaming the weather on this stuff is lunacy right now. So plus the other thing is I'm getting people send me you know stories of snow in Florida and how great that is. So what do you think about that? Do you think that that's natural, unnatural? I have a guy that sent me a story about how this is a weather machine and they turn on the weather machine. Well, okay, if that's the case, make it rain here, okay? And that's the other thing. When it does rain here, you're going to have mudslides and you're going to have places that have been burnt out, and the stuff is just going to run down the hill and it's going to destroy houses even more then. So you cannot win with some of this stuff. But it's one thing it's done is it's made it so that I will never buy a house on a hill. Okay, all the stuff I've looked at, you can keep it. I'm going to finish this video with these last few things. Don't forget we have a private channel called iAllegedly Live. You sign up at iAllegedly.tv. It is fantastic. There's almost 200 videos there already, and I love making the content there because it's uncensored and fantastic, and check it out today. A couple of things. You know the old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Well, Paul Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi's husband, has made, leading up to the inauguration, made $38 million in stock trades. Sold a bunch of Apple stock, sold NVIDIA at $5 million of NVIDIA stock before it started to tank, and then bought an obscure AI company that went up over 50% in the days leading up to the inauguration. And again, wow, there are sites, and you can search for this if you're interested in this, and following Nancy Pelosi's trades and her husband's trades. And again, inside, information, you decide. I think yes. How do you? This guy's the greatest stock trader that ever lived, without a doubt, ever lived. Paul Pelosi. Okay. Now, final story, and that I believe it was James sent me this one, and it was, here's the next big problem, and that was the shuttering of all the different stores because of the Albertsons Kroger merger that did not go through. The Albertsons company just notified the state of uh, Arizona that they're going to lay off 225 people at the corporate office. So they have to, because it's over 100. And so, again, guys, you're going to see nothing but problems come out. But the worst part is I don't want to see stores close because, the oldest people and people that can't afford it, rely on the local supermarkets. And that's a problem. So let me know what you think. Don't forget to hit the like button. Take a look at our sponsor, and have a great day. Okay, you want to get a hold of me? Email me at hello@iallegedly.com, and I will see you very soon.